Alaska had always been on my bucket list, a place where nature was wild and untouched. I was looking forward to hiking through Denali National Park with its sprawling landscapes and rugged beauty. I had done my research, packed bear spray, and was ready to experience the great outdoors. The hike started off perfectly. I was deep in the forest. The only sounds around me were the rustling of trees and the crunch of my boots on the dirt trail. But as I rounded a bend, everything changed. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move. I froze. Standing about 30 yards ahead of me was a grizzly bear. It wasn't lumbering away or sniffing around. It was staring straight at me. My heart started racing as I remembered everything I'd read about bear encounters. Don't run, don't panic. But then it moved. The bear suddenly charged, faster than I could have ever imagined. I fumbled for my bear spray, my hands shaking, and managed to spray a cloud in its direction just as it closed the distance. For a moment, the bear stopped, pawing at its face. But then it lunged again. In a split second, I dropped to the ground, curling up as tight as I could, protecting my neck. I could feel the weight of the bear as it swatted me, rolling me across the dirt. My body went numb with fear. After what felt like hours, but was probably just seconds, the bear suddenly stopped and sniffed the air. Then, just as quickly as it had come, it walked away. I didn't move for a long time, too scared to even check if it was really gone. Eventually, I found the strength to stand and make my way back to the trailhead. I was bruised but alive. I had been incredibly lucky that day, and it's something that still haunts me whenever I think about it. The ocean has always been a place of comfort for me, and snorkeling in Australia's Great Barrier Reef was a dream come true. I had spent the morning swimming with vibrant schools of fish, marveling at the coral and feeling at peace in the deep blue. I decided to drift a bit farther from the group, curious to see more of the reef on my own. As I floated, mesmerized by the underwater world, I noticed something out of place, a shadow just beyond my line of sight. When I looked up, my stomach dropped. A bull shark was gliding through the water, no more than 20 feet away. I've heard stories about sharks, how most of them aren't interested in people. But bull sharks? They're unpredictable, and I knew that. I stayed as still as I could, trying to control my breathing, but my mind was racing. The shark circled slowly, like it was sizing me up. I started to back away, keeping my movements smooth and slow, hoping not to attract any more attention. But then, the shark made a sudden movement, darting in my direction. Instinct took over, and I kicked hard, trying to create some distance. The shark veered off, but not far. It circled again, this time closer. My heart pounded in my chest, and I could feel the adrenaline coursing through me. But just as quickly as it had appeared, the shark seemed to lose interest and swam off into the distance. I didn't waste any time. I swam back to the boat, every nerve in my body still on high alert. It wasn't until I was safely on board that I realized how close I'd come to a full-on attack. The ocean is a beautiful place, but that day, I learned just how dangerous it can be when you let your guard down. The Okavango Delta in Botswana is known for its incredible wildlife, and I had always dreamed of visiting. On safari, it felt like I was in another world, surrounded by nature in its purest form. But nothing could have prepared me for the moment I came face to face with one of Africa's deadliest predators. It started as a typical afternoon. Our group had stopped by a riverbank to observe some hippos lounging in the water. I remember the guide warning us about getting too close to the edge because crocodiles often lurked just below the surface. I didn't think much of it at the time, but I wish I had listened more closely. I stepped a little closer to the water, trying to get a better angle for a photo. The next thing I knew, the water erupted. A massive Nile crocodile launched itself out of the river, and before I could react, it had clamped its jaws around my leg. The pain was immediate, and the sheer force of the animal was unlike anything I'd ever felt. It yanked me toward the water with terrifying strength. My mind went blank. I kicked and thrashed, desperate to break free, but it was like fighting a freight train. My guide rushed toward me, shouting and waving his stick to distract the croc. Somehow it worked. The crocodile loosened its grip, just for a moment, and that was enough. I scrambled back, blood running down my leg, but too full of adrenaline to care. The rest of the safari was a blur. I was lucky, The croc hadn't crushed any bones, and I walked away with nothing more than deep puncture wounds and the story of a lifetime. Looking back, I realize how easily things could have ended differently. Nature doesn't offer many second chances, and that day, I got one. I was traveling through rural India, exploring small villages and off-the-beaten-path destinations, when I came across a pack of stray dogs. I had seen wild dogs before, but these were different, lean, hungry, and aggressive. It started with just one, growling as I passed by. I kept my distance, not wanting to provoke it, but soon, more dogs emerged from the alleys, surrounding me. My heart sank as I realized I had wandered into their territory. The first dog lunged at me, teeth bared. I swung my backpack at it, managing to fend it off, but the others were circling closer, snarling and barking. I had no weapon, nothing to defend myself except for my pack and a nearby stick I grabbed from the ground. For what felt like hours, I stood there, trying to keep the dogs at bay, swinging the stick whenever one got too close. My arms were tired, my legs shaking, but I knew that if I fell, it was over. Finally, a local man appeared, shouting and waving his arms. The dogs hesitated for a moment before retreating into the shadows. The man told me that packs of wild dogs in rural India can be extremely dangerous, especially when they're hungry. That encounter shook me. It wasn't the kind of animal attack I had ever expected, but it was just as deadly. I was lucky to get away with just a few scratches and bruises, but now, I always stay cautious when walking through unfamiliar areas. During a safari in South Africa's Kruger National Park, I was eager to see elephants in the wild. I had always admired them from a distance, their sheer size and majesty mesmerizing. But seeing them in person was an entirely different experience, and one that almost went horribly wrong. We had been watching a herd of elephants from our vehicle for about 20 minutes. Everything seemed calm until a large bull elephant, clearly agitated, started walking toward us. The guide told us to stay still and quiet, reassuring us that it would likely pass by without incident. But the elephant didn't stop. It picked up speed, and suddenly, it was charging right at us. The guide shouted for us to hang on as he slammed the vehicle into reverse, but the elephant was too fast. It rammed the front of the Jeep with its massive head, nearly tipping us over. The force of the impact was like nothing I'd ever felt. The vehicle shook violently, and for a moment, I thought it would flip. The elephant trumpeted loudly, its trunk flailing as it backed up for another charge. Incredibly, the guide managed to reverse quickly enough to create some distance between us and the enraged animal. The elephant paused, snorted, and eventually turned away, returning to its herd as if nothing had happened. It took a while for my heart to stop racing. The power and speed of that elephant were overwhelming, and it reminded me that even the gentlest-looking creatures can be dangerous when they feel threatened. I was hiking through the Tuscan countryside, enjoying the rolling hills and picturesque landscapes. The trail was quiet, and I hadn't seen another person for miles, which suited me just fine. It was peaceful, until I heard a rustling in the bushes nearby. At first, I thought it was just a small animal, maybe a deer. But then, out of the brush charged a wild boar. Its tusks glinted in the sunlight as it barreled toward me, and I froze. I had heard stories about wild boar attacks. They can be incredibly aggressive when they feel threatened, and this one looked ready to charge. Without thinking, I grabbed the nearest tree and pulled myself up, climbing as high as I could. The boar slammed into the base of the tree, snorting and grunting, clearly not happy with my presence. It circled the tree for what felt like forever, pawing at the ground and occasionally ramming the trunk. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears as I clung to the branches. I didn't dare move, fearing that any sudden motion would provoke the boar further. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the boar lost interest and wandered back into the underbrush. I waited up in that tree for a long time before I was brave enough to climb down. Even then, I could still hear the sound of the boar moving in the distance, and I didn't relax until I was far away from the area. I learned that day just how quickly a calm hike can turn into a dangerous situation, especially in the wild. It was the kind of experience I had dreamed about, an up-close and personal encounter with Africa's wild beauty. But what I didn't expect was just how close it would get. I was on a walking safari in South Africa, something adventurous travelers often talk about, hoping to experience the animals in their natural habitat without the barrier of a vehicle. Our guide was experienced, armed, and well-versed in safety, so I felt secure. We had just finished observing a group of grazing antelope when we heard a rustle in the nearby bushes. The guide stopped suddenly, signaling for silence. I froze. Out of the brush, a leopard emerged, silent, predatory, and far too close for comfort. The guide whispered for us to back away slowly, but the leopard wasn't interested in letting us leave. It crouched low, eyes locked on us, and before I knew it, it lunged. The next moments were a blur. The guide raised his rifle but didn't fire immediately, trying not to escalate the situation. The leopard swiped, grazing the guide's arm, but luckily it didn't sink its teeth into anyone. I stumbled backward, falling to the ground as the guide fired a shot into the air, finally scaring the leopard off. I've never felt adrenaline like that before. Every second could have been my last. The guide later told us that encounters like these are rare but can happen when predators feel cornered or hungry. That experience left me with a newfound respect for Africa's wildlife and the realization that even on guided tours, you're never truly safe. I'd heard stories about hyenas, how they're opportunistic hunters, mostly scavengers, and rarely attack humans. But after what happened to me during a camping trip in Tanzania, I'll never underestimate them again. We were camping near the Serengeti, deep in the bush, with only a small campfire between us and the wilderness. The night was still, but as we sat around the fire, we started hearing unsettling noises, laughter. It wasn't the kind of laughter you'd expect. It was the eerie, bone-chilling cackling of hyenas. At first, we thought they were just scavenging nearby, but then we saw them, glowing eyes in the darkness, slowly encircling our camp. Hyenas are much larger in person than I had ever imagined. One of them got bold, inching closer to the fire, its teeth bared, growling softly. Suddenly, one of the hyenas lunged at one of the tents, ripping it apart as the person inside screamed. We grabbed whatever we could, sticks, rocks, anything, to try and fend them off. The pack didn't retreat easily, though, and it took a few tense minutes before they backed away, finally scared off by our shouting and fire. The next morning, we surveyed the damage, a shredded tent, belongings scattered, but we were all alive. The experience shook us all. Hyenas may be scavengers, but when hungry or desperate, they're not afraid to test their chances. That night, we learned just how dangerous they could be. Working on an oil rig has always been dangerous, but you never really think something life-threatening will happen to you until it does. I was stationed on an offshore rig in the Gulf of Mexico, where I'd been working for about 6 months. It was a typical day, and the weather was rough but manageable. No one was particularly worried. After all, we had seen worse. We were wrapping up maintenance on one of the higher decks when a wave larger than expected hit the rig. The entire structure shuddered, and before I knew it, I lost my footing. I remember the feeling of weightlessness as I slipped off the edge and plummeted into the ocean below. The wind was knocked out of me as I hit the cold water, disoriented, struggling to understand what had just happened. The waves were relentless, crashing over me as I tried to stay afloat. The rig loomed above me, but there was no easy way back. I had no time to panic, just survive. The safety vest I was wearing kept me buoyant, but the sheer force of the waves made it difficult to breathe. The cold seeped into my bones, and every time I tried to yell for help, the ocean swallowed my voice. Minutes passed, though they felt like hours. My mind raced, wondering if anyone had seen me fall. The rig was massive, and with all the noise and chaos, it was possible no one had noticed. I felt tiny in the vastness of the ocean, surrounded by nothing but water. I tried to stay calm, conserving my energy, but it wasn't long before I started feeling the effects of exhaustion and cold. Just when I began to lose hope, I spotted the rescue boat, moving fast through the waves. They had seen me after all. The crew pulled me out of the water, and I collapsed on the deck, shivering uncontrollably but alive. The reality of how close I had come to drowning hit me only after I was safely back on the rig. Falling from that height into the open ocean is the stuff of nightmares, but for me, it became all too real. I'll never forget that day. and it serves as a constant reminder of just how unforgiving the ocean can be, and how quickly everything can go wrong when you least expect it. When people talk about dangerous animals in Africa, they usually mention lions, crocodiles, or maybe even rhinos. But no one ever warned me about hippos. They might look slow and docile, but they're one of the deadliest animals on the continent. I learned that the hard way while on a canoe safari on the Zambezi River. It was supposed to be a peaceful day of paddling down the river, observing the wildlife from a safe distance. Our guide was experienced and assured us that hippos weren't a threat unless provoked. We had spotted a few earlier, submerged up to their eyes, and they seemed to ignore us as we passed. But late in the afternoon, as we paddled near a bend in the river, we unknowingly drifted too close to a hippo's territory. I didn't see it at first, but then the water exploded next to me. A massive hippo, easily the size of our canoe, charged out of the water, mouth wide open, revealing its huge tusks. Time slowed. I barely had a moment to react before the hippo slammed into the side of the canoe, flipping us into the river. The force was terrifying. It felt like being hit by a freight train. The water turned into chaos as we scrambled to the surface, but the hippo wasn't done. I came up gasping for air, only to see the hippo charging again, its mouth gaping wide. My heart raced as I swam for my life, knowing it could easily crush me with one bite. Our guide was shouting, banging on the overturned canoe in an attempt to distract it. Miraculously, it worked. The hippo veered away, leaving us to scramble to shore, still in shock from what had just happened. Once we reached the safety of the riverbank, drenched and shaking, the guide explained that hippos are highly territorial and can be incredibly aggressive if they feel threatened. I had always thought of them as harmless, maybe even cute, but after that day, I knew better. Hippos may not have sharp teeth like lions or speed like cheetahs, but when they charge, there's almost nothing you can do to stop them. That experience left me with a permanent respect for the wild. The Zambezi River may be beautiful, but it's also unpredictable. And hippos? They're not to be underestimated.